My family nicknamed me the ATM while I sent them $4,000 monthly. When I discovered their group chat, I connected my phone to the anniversary party speakers. I, 35M, have always believed family comes first. Growing up in a household where money was tight, I promised myself I'd help my parents once I made it. And I did make it. After years of 80-hour work weeks, missed vacations, and sacrificing my social life, I landed a high-paying tech job that finally gave me financial freedom. 5 years ago, when my dad had a health scare, I started sending $4,000 monthly to my parents. It wasn't easy. That's a mortgage payment in most cities, but I wanted them to enjoy their retirement without financial stress. My two siblings contribute occasionally with gifts or taking them to dinner, but the consistent financial support has been my responsibility. Last weekend was my parents' 50th anniversary. I flew across the country, booked a nice venue, and arranged catering for 50 guests, another $15,000 out of my pocket. I was happy to do it. Family is family, right? The evening started wonderfully. Everyone was dressed up, the food was great, and my parents looked genuinely happy. Then came the speeches. My younger brother went first, talking about how our parents supported his dreams. My sister followed, sharing stories about mom's sacrifices for her dance recitals. Both nice, heartfelt speeches. Then my father stood up. I expected something about their marriage journey, but instead, he started talking about me. At first, I felt touched, until I realized where it was going. My eldest has always been the difficult one, he said, getting laughs from the crowd. Always so busy with work, barely visits, and when he does, he's glued to his phone. Sure, he sends money, but what we really want is his time. My mother nodded along, adding, money can't buy family bonds. I sat there, stunned. 5 years of financial support, and this is how they portrayed me? As some absent, phone-addicted son who throws money at problems? My cousin leaned over and whispered, don't take it personally. They're just upset you couldn't make it for Christmas. I couldn't make it for Christmas because I was working overtime to cover an emergency project, the bonus from which funded their new kitchen renovation. As I sat there processing, my brother's wife accidentally sent a message to the family group chat instead of just to him. It read, the ATM looks pissed. Think he'll cut them off, followed by a laughing emoji. The ATM, that's what they call me. I excused myself to the bathroom, scrolled up through months of group messages I'd been too busy to read carefully. There it was, scattered throughout. Jokes about hitting up the ATM, discussions about what they could get me to pay for next, even my sister asking if the ATM is coming to Dad's birthday before planning expenses. Something snapped in me. I walked back to the table, picked up my phone, connected it to the venue's Bluetooth speaker system, and cleared my throat. I'd like to make a toast too, I said. I pulled up my banking app and projected it onto the wall using the small projector I carry for work presentations. This is my monthly budget, I said calmly. This $4,000 transfer labeled Parents has gone out every month for 5 years. That's $240,000 total. The room went silent. This other transfer? That's my mortgage. Notice it's less than what I send you. And this small amount for personal expenses? That's why I'm always working, because after supporting everyone, there's not much left. I scrolled through the group chat messages, projecting those too. And apparently, this is my thanks, being called the ATM behind my back. My mother started crying. My father turned red. My siblings looked at their plates. I never asked for gratitude, but I didn't expect mockery either. I'm not an ATM. I'm your son who sacrificed his own comfort to make sure you were taken care of. I disconnected my phone, thanked everyone for coming, and walked out. That was 3 days ago. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing with messages, some apologetic, others accusing me of ruining the anniversary. My brother claims it was just a joke. My sister says I'm overreacting. My parents haven't said anything directly. I haven't responded to anyone. For the first time in years, I'm thinking about what I want. Maybe it's time to close the bank. Update 1 week later. It's been a week since the anniversary disaster, and I've had time to process everything. First, thank you to everyone who commented. Your perspectives help me see things more clearly. After 3 days of silence, I finally answered my parents' calls. The conversation was difficult. My mother cried, saying they never meant to hurt me and that they appreciated everything I'd done. My father was more reserved, but admitted they had taken my support for granted. When I brought up the ATM nickname, my mother claimed she'd never heard it before. My father hesitated, then said my siblings occasionally used it, but he'd shut it down. Given what I saw in the group chat, I'm not sure I believe that. The most revealing part came when I mentioned I was reconsidering the monthly transfers. My mother's immediate panic was telling. She started listing all their expenses, the medications not covered by insurance, the house repairs needed. My father jumped in with, "We're too old to go back to work now." I realized they weren't just taking my money for granted. They'd built their entire lifestyle around it. My siblings' responses were mixed. My sister called, crying and apologizing profusely. She admitted using the nickname, but said it was affectionate rather than mocking. My brother sent a text saying I was being dramatic and families joke about each other all the time. Yesterday, I made a decision. I called my parents and explained that I wouldn't be continuing the $4,000 monthly payments. Instead, I'm setting up a more structured arrangement. 1. I'll pay their health insurance and medication costs directly. 2. I'll cover essential house repairs as needed. 3. I'll send them $1,500 monthly for living expenses. This still comes to about $2,500 to $3,000 monthly, but with more accountability and less room for luxury spending. I also made it clear that if I ever hear the ATM nickname again, or discover they're misrepresenting me to family, all support beyond medical necessities stops immediately. My mother accepted this tearfully. My father was quiet, but nodded along. My sister called it more than generous. My brother hasn't responded. I've also decided to take a 2-week vacation, my first in 3 years, to clear my head. No work emails, no family drama, just me figuring out what I want from life beyond being everyone's financial safety net. It feels like I'm breathing for the first time in years. Update 2. 3 months later. The past 3 months have been transformative. That 2-week vacation turned into a genuine period of self-discovery. I hiked through national parks, ate at restaurants without checking prices, and even went on a few dates, something I hadn't prioritized in years. The new financial arrangement with my parents has been working surprisingly well. By paying for specific expenses directly, I've eliminated the ambiguity that allowed the situation to spiral. Their medical needs are covered, their house is secure, and the reduced monthly stipend covers their basics. What's been most revealing is seeing how they've adjusted. After initial complaints about downsizing their lifestyle, they've actually adapted quite well. My mother has started volunteering at a local library and seems happier with purpose beyond shopping. My father joined a veterans group and reconnected with old friends. My relationship with my siblings has evolved too. My sister and I had several honest conversations. She admitted feeling jealous of my financial success and harboring resentment that I made it out of our hometown while she feels stuck. We're working through it, and for the first time in years, our conversations aren't centered around money or our parents. My brother is another story. After weeks of cold silence, he called asking for a loan to cover his son's private school tuition. When I declined, suggesting public school options, he exploded, calling me selfish and saying, "The ATM is officially closed, huh?" That confirmed everything I needed to know about his perspective on our relationship. The most unexpected development came last week. My parents invited me to Sunday dinner. Just us, no siblings. After dessert, my father handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $12,000. "We can't pay back everything," he said, "but we've been saving from what you send us. We want you to know we don't take it for granted." I was speechless. My mother explained they'd been putting aside a little each month since our confrontation, realizing they'd become too dependent on me. The check represented their effort to acknowledge that. I didn't cash it. Instead, I suggested we use it to start a family emergency fund that anyone could access when truly needed, not for luxuries, but for genuine crises. They agreed. For the first time in years, I feel like their son again, not their financial institution. I've reclaimed about $2,000 monthly for myself, which I'm splitting between retirement savings and actually enjoying my life. I still have moments of resentment when I remember those group chat messages, but I'm working through it. Family relationships are complicated, especially when money gets involved. Setting boundaries was the hardest thing I've ever done, and the most necessary. Update 3. 1 year later. It's been exactly 1 year since that fateful anniversary dinner, and I'm in a completely different place now, both literally and figuratively. The structured financial support from my parents continues, but it's no longer the defining feature of our relationship. We talk weekly, and the conversations center around their activities, my life, current events, normal family stuff. The ATM nickname has disappeared completely, replaced by something I hadn't heard in years, my actual name, spoken with respect. 6 months ago, I made a major life change. With the money I'd reclaimed from supporting my family, plus savings from my reduced expenses, I was able to take a slightly lower-paying job that I'm passionate about. I now work reasonable hours, have weekends free, and feel fulfilled by what I do. The constant exhaustion that defined my existence for years has lifted. My relationship with my sister has healed considerably. She recently started her own small business, and I helped her with the initial business plan, offering knowledge rather than money. Watching her succeed on her own terms has been more rewarding than any check I could have written. My brother and I remained distant. After several attempts to extract money from me failed, he spread rumors within the extended family that I'd abandoned our parents. Fortunately, the The truth was easy to verify, and his attempts backfired. We're civil at family gatherings, but nothing more. The family emergency fund I established with my parents' return money has already proven its worth. When my cousin's child needed specialized medical treatment not covered by insurance, we were able to help without anyone feeling burdened or resentful. It's changed how our extended family views financial support, from an expectation to a collaborative safety net. Perhaps the most significant change is in how I view myself. For years, my identity was wrapped up in being the provider, the responsible one, the human ATM. Now, I'm just me, a person with interests, hobbies, dating prospects, and dreams beyond making the next payment. Last month, my parents celebrated their 51st anniversary. It was a small, intimate dinner. No speeches, no drama, just genuine connection. My father pulled me aside afterward and said something I'll never forget. "I'm proud of you. Not for what you've given us, but for who you are." It took a public confrontation, painful conversations, and firm boundaries to get here. But for the first time in my adult life, I feel like I have a family rather than dependents. And that's worth more than any amount of money I could have sent them.